as Dash of Dave. He'll take some scraps and bits of this, turn them into something you can't miss. Junk journals, tapes, and crafts galore. He'll have you begging, show me more. Oh, Dash of Dave, oh, what a sight. Mixing colors, day and night.
Hi everyone, it's Dash of Dave here again, back for another crafty video. So, today we don't have any house because we finished it last week. So, today we are going to look at my fussy cuts. So, somebody mentioned in the studio tour that I did of, my real and raw tour, had said about the how I store my fussy cuts and also what I do with fussy cuts and the fussy cutting. So we're going to talk fussy cuts. So I have them stored in different ways. So there are multiple ways that I store them. So I store them, some of them are like this. So these are, this is a box that I've had for many years, and I actually got it from somewhere I used to work. So these are fussy cuts that I've cut myself. So I sometimes into what? I don't know what I'm talking about. I sometimes use interchangeably the word, that's the into the bit that I was trying to think of, the word of fussy cutting, fussy cuts and ephemera. So sometimes I'm using things that I've actually cut and fussy cut, and sometimes I'm using just ephemera that has come pre-cut. Now, I fussy cut things in different ways. I think there's going to be a bit of a crafter lunch going to happen in a second. You know when you can hear it all creaking, and you know that it's going to go any second? It's because I've taken some boxes out of my window ledge that were propping the other things up, and now I've taken them out. I think they're going to fall over. So, if you hear something, be prepared. So, these are the fussy cuts that I've actually fussy cut. Now, I separate these out into different colours. So, they are usually just flowers and plants. I do occasionally have some birds, so there's some bigger birds here, and I should talk about those in a second. But in here, what I have is these are like little zippable files, cases that I haven't zipped up, because I usually leave them open so I can just dip my hand in. So in each one of these, they're separated into colours. So it's the predominant colour, because obviously they're going to have green on, the predominant flower colour. So all of these in here, in theory, will be blue. That means sometimes when I say in theory, it means I might have shoved it in the wrong colour. So I think I'm going to sneeze now, just have to bear with me. Yes, I did sneeze. So, yeah, these are separated. These are separated out into usually blues. There should be blues in here, so there's like blues here. So, again, fussy cutting usually from books. Sometimes they're things that I've printed and then fussy cut from there. So we've got blue, we've got orange and yellow. And now I have a lot of orange and yellows because it's one of my favourite colours. That is not orange and yellow. Oh no, it is. It's orange and yellow. Although I would say that was predominantly white, so I'm going to put that somewhere else. So there's kind of just, once they've been fussy cut, they're fitted into here. And then when I'm looking for, usually what I want is I want a particular colour rather than a particular style. So that's why I've separated them into colours. Your separation might be different to mine. These are greens, so these are usually just plants that are just, foliage. These are lilac and mauve. Then we've got natural and white, which I'm going to put that one into because I think that's more suited. Then we've got red and deep orange, so the really deep colours of orange that, could be interchangeable with red. Go in there. Then in this one, this is when it starts to drift off the colours. These are panels and plates. So by panels and plates, what I mean is, we're not talking dining plates. We're talking these kind of panels that you get that can just, you know, fill a space. I don't know why there's birds in there. Goodness only knows, because that's what happens. It's like you kind of I go off piste. The panels and plates are in here, so these might be panels of flowers, or you know, they might be little like note plates, whatever. So they go into there. Then we've got corners. So these are anything that's like larger. So this would sit in the corner of something, usually larger things that I've not wanted to cut up. So yes, I could cut the birds out, but these birds would look ridiculous with just a, you know, this going through if it wasn't connected to anything else. So and those birds are like, you know, they're all covered in all sorts of things. So foliage, that's what I'm thinking of, the things. Then there's some, like, there's a panel there with a bird on it, and you know, some fruit and foliage. So they are panels that are in there. So they're corners in there. I don't know. There's in there. There seems to be two words. Again, don't know why. Who knows? And then this is the fussy cutting. So this is stuff that I've pulled out of magazines, various magazines, and they are to fussy cut at some point. And I will go through and cut those at a later date. At some point in my life. Just maybe not now. So I'll put these all into here. So they're my actual fussy cuts. When I fussy cut, I usually use a pair of Tim Holtz scissors. These are actually the fabric scissors, but they were cheap. I bought them, and they do a perfectly good job. I don't use them for cutting fabrics. Books are the other way I separate things like fussy cuts. Sometimes they're fussy cuts, usually they're just bits of ephemera. So in here there will be fungi. So anything to do with fungi or mushrooms or whatever will be in here. Now, it can get a bit unruly because I have a lot of these cards. I occasionally don't fussy cut as well. Occasionally I don't do the fussy cutting myself. I do have a Cricut and a scan and cut. And if it's a big sheet, let's say like this, so this is a Nick the Booksmith thing, I would possibly ask it to kiss cut these. By kiss cut, that means it gets as close to the edge of the actual design as possible, because I don't like too much of a white border. These are a bit more challenging for both of the machines, so I would probably cut these myself. But that's what I mean by I would get my devices to cut those. So that would probably work better in the scan and cut or the Cricut. So and I do the same for if I had a sheet of mushrooms, etc. I would use that. These do not want to stay in here, so we're going to switch it up and move them into there. So this is a book. I think this was a design. I think it was Tracy Fox, but I've it's so long ago since these were made. So, and you can see here, there's more room, there's more scope for more things. So that's the book style. Now I have those for. Just bear with me while I have those for fungi, flowers, people, words and quotes, frames, tickets, stamps, mixed Tim Holtz ephemera, travel, entomology, and labels. So I've got several of these. And then all I did was they were made out of. So some of them were made by myself, some were made by Brian, and they are made from just cardstock that I didn't like, you know. So just a way, not, you know, when you buy a book of cardstock, and sometimes it looks nice, sometimes it doesn't, and it's the stuff I didn't like. So that's the book style. I didn't get loads of those out. Then we go to the other thing I keep is these. So these are cigar boxes. So this has got like things like fruit in. So cigar boxes, sometimes they are pre-made. So these are actual old ones. This is another old one. You see, that's the same, but it's just faded. This is an actual one. So this has got people in it. This has got tags in it. This is another actual one. But then sometimes I'll make them. So this is one. Now I'm showing you how to make these. It was a video a while ago. I will. Sorry, it's a bit dusty because things in this house get dusty, especially in this room. No dusting happens in here. This is one I made to look like these. And if I can find the video, I will link it because I really loved making the faux cigar boxes, and I think if you've not seen that video, you really should watch it because that is something that it's nice and easy to make and something you can do, because I know lots of people love these and covet them. The problem is they're getting very expensive, so they're not, you can buy cigar boxes that are a bit more plain these days, the more fancy decorative ones. The people that smoke cigars know that these are worth something, so they charge a fortune for them. And yes, it's faded, and that's because it's been in a window. So it's just like these are all been in a window. They kind of fade and they look old. So here's another one. This has got, what's this got in it? Printed vellum and acetate. And then this one's got birds in it. So the ones that have birds in are usually my fussy cut birds, but it's just easier because the birds are usually bigger and they're more delicate. You're more likely to bend their beaks or their feet. So that's kind of how I store things. I am not a good fussy cutter by any stretch of the imagination. I do have I have a bit of dexterity issues, but I will. Let's cut something and you can kind of see what I mean. So what I would do is just check and make sure that I'm cutting out a piece that because I'll always check which side do I prefer. So this has got nothing else on the back, so I don't have to worry about it, but I will always double check that before I do anything. And when I fussy cut, I don't spend an absolute age doing it. Some people absolutely love it and can sit and watch TV doing it. If I'm sitting watching TV, I'm not watching TV, I'm watching myself do this. So I'm not an expert fussy cutter. I have cut a lot of stuff here, but this is, I've had this channel now for 6 years this year. In fact, I think I'm about 13 videos away from hitting 600 video mark. So I've been doing it a long time. So this is the fussy cutting I have done. I mean, I've obviously used some as well. This is the fussy cutting I have done in that time. So it's not a huge amount of it. So maybe I should do 3 hours of watching me fussy cut as videos. Because it won't take me 3 hours to do this. It'll take me about 300 hours to do just what's left in there. But I always buy more books and then find more things to fussy cut, and that's the problem. It's never ending. It's like painting the Forth Bridge. So I tend to keep the scissors still and turn the page. And I think for me, and this is for me, I think that works better for me. I think I get a better cut from it. I don't get overly upset if I get too close at some point and not close enough at other points. It's fussy cutting at the end of the day. If you want perfection on things, then maybe you should invest in one of the, like a scan and cut or a Cricut, or I believe Silhouette does the same sort of things. So it can do the kiss cut stuff. I prefer the randomness of. This is going to sound really contradictory. I hate fussy cutting. However, I prefer the randomness of hand fussy cutting than I do a machine. A machine will always do it, you know, quite accurate. And it'll do the same border margin every time, whereas a human does not. However, I wish I could get a machine that could do it, maybe an AI version of it. So there we go, there's a fussy cut. So I would put that in the white natural because the flowers themselves are more white in colour. Then we come to things like this. So things like this are, they kind of overlap each other. So I would, for this, and this is how I would do it, and you know, I'm not saying anybody else would do it. This leaf arrangement is connected to this plant, and I know it's also connected to this one. But what I would probably do is cut this plant with this out, cut this down to this part of the stem, and then cut this one down to here, and cut this one down to here, because that way then I'm getting a bit of everything without. It can get really delicate if you're trying to keep all of these things. You've seen how like I store my fussy cuts, so they're not always bob on perfect. So it is what it is, really. So let's cut that one out. So sometimes the other thing I will do in front of the TV is not fussy cut them, but just cut them out like this. So the less guesswork stuff. No, it's not even guesswork I'm talking about. The less concentration required. So I'll just cut them out, roughly cut them out first, and then put them in another bag or file or whatever, and then say, right, well, I will cut those out at some point. So, and when it comes to like an undulation on a leaf, I might not even actually follow the undulation. I'll just wiggle it backwards and forth like that, and that way then it kind of looks like I have followed it. But like, you know, if you love fussy cutting, absolutely fantastic. I'm glad. But I just think there's more things I could be doing other than fussy cutting. It's like dusting, you know. I know it needs doing, but you know, there's other things that are a lot more interesting. And the reason I say dusting is because I was dusting before I came on camera, and I think that's the reason why I'm sneezing. There's a bit of dust in the air. I wasn't dusting in this room. No, that does not happen. I was dusting in my bedroom, which is just adjacent to this room. Adjacent. Look at me. I mean, next door. Just next door. Well, it's not even next door because it's. Well, it is. It's literally the next door. But I don't mean out. You don't mean you have to go outside. Adjacent is better. It's more accurate. It's adjacent to this room. So. So yeah, I find that when I've dusted, I sneeze a lot because there's particles in the air. Maybe I should try dusting more often, and it wouldn't accumulate. But you know, hey, if I did that, there wouldn't be as many videos on YouTube. So, I also try not to give myself a hard time if I make a mistake. As in, sometimes I have amputated something from a fussy cut. Oh, it really hurts my thumb. You know, like you're really concentrating, like if you're pressing on a pen and it really hurts your thumb. That's how I need to be more relaxed about fussy cutting. It's because I'm doing it on camera. I'd normally not put myself under this pressure to perform. So yes, I can't even remember what I was talking about now. Oh, dusting. Yeah, maybe I should dust more often, but no, maybe I shouldn't. Less videos for you guys if I dusted more often. So it's one of those things. Now I know this has got some roots on, but I am not going to cut round the roots. Let's face it, who's going to be looking at the roots? Nobody. So, well, the roots on my head, you might be looking at those, but like, I wouldn't bother. I've got no hair attached on my head, so you'd be looking for the roots. So there we go. There's one, and that's, I would say that was yellow as the predominant flower colour. Remember, that's the colour I'm going for. And it's another one in the yellow and orange thing. I think I must like yellows and oranges. So let's fussy cut this a little bit. Well, it's not even fussy cutting, is it? It's butcher cutting. Let's cut one out that isn't. So, how would I cut this? First of all, I'm going to not put a V at the bottom. I wouldn't bother cutting round all of those little things. I would go round each one of these. Now, if I then was putting it on something and I thought, oh, I can't live with that, that's got to be cut down better, then I will do that. But just to be filed away, if I cut all of these down, they'd all fall off anyway. They'd get snapped and broken. It's like the I don't have any particularly here. Maybe this. You see how these are? Let's not do that, Dave, because you're just going to end up. Oh, it's a white one now. That should be in the other one. Take that white one out. That should go in there. So these have got some landlocked areas. Again, this is one where I've not cut fully down so that it doesn't bend. But these landlocked areas, I will cut with a Stanley blade, or not a Stanley blade. I know you guys don't call it a Stanley blade, so with a scalpel blade. So I cut that bit out with one of these when it came to it. You know, if I wanted to do such a thing, I won't do it as part of the course for this bit anyway. So like I say, just so that it kind of, I've cut it out, but it's not perfect. And it'll do, I mean, like, you know, the chances of me using this particular one next are slim to none, considering I've got so many others. So, and again, just kind of just giving it a bit of a shape, because it could, in theory, just go on to something like that. I would probably want to cut around the flowers more, but the leaves I wouldn't necessarily worry about. So that's that one. Let's do this one. So I'm going to cut around that. Just cut that off. Yeah, so the other thing I was thinking is I was watching something. I was watching somebody that's that lives in the UK, that's originally from America. I think her name's Girl Gone London, and she now lives in the UK. Previously from America, and she talks about things like, you know, the differences between here and there. And when I say here, I mean UK, and there being America. And obviously this is sometimes the case for Canadians, but I do believe that Canadians are a bit more clued up on British terms because they are a bit more anglicised. So one of the Commonwealth countries, aren't they? Is that what they are? I don't know. I can't remember. It's one of the old British territories, anyway. So don't ask me about the geography of things. I don't know. That's why I don't do a geography channel. So yeah. So moving on swiftly before anybody like calls me out or something. Or if you want to call me out in the comments. That's absolutely fine by me. So yeah, I watched this person, and she was saying about words that confuse Americans, and I was thinking, I've definitely used words like that on my channel. I can't. The thing is that I can't remember. I must find that actual video and maybe link it, because I can't remember what some of the words were, but I can't even give you an example of one. Oh, things like duck, and so I mean, I know that people know what a duck is. I'm not insinuating that, but it's quite common for somebody in the UK to call somebody a duck. So, all right, duck, or can I help you, duck? And a duck is a term of endearment. So, don't be offended if somebody calls you a duck. So, but that's just basically one of them. But there are some other ones. Things. Oh, chuffed is another thing. So, like, I've definitely said that I was really chuffed about something. Chuffed means that you're happy. You're really pleased about something. So I'm really chuffed. So I know that was definitely one of them. Maybe we'll talk about it in a future video. So when I'm doing stuff, notice how I'm able to like talk quite freely when I'm doing fussy cutting. But if I was colouring something in, or if I was inking something, I kind of have to concentrate a bit more. I have no idea why that is, but there you go. That's just the way it is. I'm going to, I'm just going to cut those quite short there, because they're kind of cut off anyway. So there we go. That's a little one that can go in there, and then we're going to cut this one. So yeah, so that's that basically. So this is how I fussy cut. This is basically how I store things. I don't claim to be the world's greatest fussy cutter, and some of you out there will definitely be way better than me and probably laughing at me, saying, "Oh, you need to go back to school." Well, you know something, they didn't teach me this at school. So to be fair, they didn't really teach me very much. So UK education in the 80s was terrible, especially for somebody like me. So so if I wasn't being beaten up by the kids, I was being bullied by the teachers. So that's your penance for being different. So unfortunately, I think the world is going more that way. Well, not all the world, luckily, not in the UK, but some parts of the world are going back to that kind of right-wing sympathies. So this is, I would say this was kind of a yellow colour. I'm popping it in with the yellows and oranges. So that is my fussy cutting. So I should have put those in with the birds, which of course they'll have to be at the bottom, don't they? So maybe put those in with the birds. Not all of them are. Oh no, they are birds. That's not a bird, that's a butterfly. I do have butterflies as well somewhere, but I don't know where they are. And I have, what else? Oh, I have these to put away, which are mushrooms. I'll put these in here somewhere. They came out of here, I'm sure they did. I have to be careful because the side is open. I picked them up earlier and they all went all over the place. Oh, and something else that happened to me today. This is a swivel chair with wheels on it, and I sat down and my foot was under one of the casters as I sat down, so it crushed into my foot. So that was quite painful. So if I am limping, that'll be the reason why. It feels painful at the moment. It certainly hasn't bruised yet, but I've squashed the toe adjacent to my, look at me using adjacent now, the toe adjacent to my big toe on my left foot. So that toe and that toe in the process, and I've pulled the skin off that one. So yeah. So, and then I was filling up my stapler, and I pulled it back like that and put the staples in, and the thing slammed shut and trapped my fingers in it. So I'm waiting for the next thing to happen now, because everything seems to come in threes. Oh, and by the way I make those, the labels, is I've got one of these. Now you can tell this is really old, because this used to be white and it's kind of yellowed now. But this is a printer style thing. So let's just, so I'll show you. So like you type in what you want. So actually I'll just say, I will type in something appropriate. Oh no, don't want that. Back, no. Oh, shut up, Dave. You're doing it wrong now. See, this is when I need to be able to go on the straight dash of 4. You know when you say you used to using a QWERTY keyboard and then they put them all in alphabetical order and you can't then use it. Dash of D-A-V-E. So then you just print it and it comes out of here that way. Cut it off, and there we go. So like just cut it down to where the dots are. That means that you've got the same spacing either side, and it's got a peel off back that you peel from the middle. They do newer ones of these because I've bought one for work. So there you go. So that's what I use for labelling. Not always. So what, sometimes they're a bit more quirkily labelled. But if it's just for something really practical, then it's I use that to label with. And I don't buy the originals, by the way, of the actual printing label things. So I buy the ones from, well, whatever's cheapest on Amazon, as long as they fit your machine. It doesn't matter what you use. So there we go. That is today's video. So I hope you enjoyed that. I hope you like how I store my fussy cuts. Tell me, how do you store your fussy cuts? Do you do them differently? Do you actually put the right things in them and not put just random words into into things? I don't know how they got in there. I think they might have fallen out and dropped in. Who knows? But yeah, how do you store yours? And thank you very much for watching. My name is Dasher Dave. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. We're going to be doing a few more free videos on Fridays. Free Video Friday. Maybe that's what I need to call it. Yeah, so, and I've got some box making coming up. I'm going to do some flowers, so we might do a floral Friday. And I've still got some one sheet wonders to do. I think I've got another 4 or so to do. And we'll be doing lots of other stuff, some like, you know, trying stuff out, making stuff, playing, all of that. Anyway, thanks very much for watching. My name is Dash of Dave, and I love you all, without exception, until you give me a reason not to. So don't give me a reason not to. And I'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Lots of hugs. Oh, no, they were kisses, Dave. Lots of hugs. And I'll see you very soon. Take care. Bye. Bye.